This morning I came across a video of this young content creator. She must be in her very low 20s, like super young girl, making upwards of $30,000 a month on social media. So obviously she's doing well for herself, but she was talking about something that was super triggering for me. Maybe it will be for you too. But she was talking about how from a very young age, she was told, make your own money so you won't ever have to rely on a man to pay for your things or to provide for you. You have to have your own money, is what she said. And she said, I don't know if that man is going to leave me or cheat on me. And if I'm using him to, pay for the things I need, then if he leaves me, then I'm going to be screwed, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but this is what she said. And so that was highly triggering for me, not for the reason that you think, but more so for the reason that I think there's a very fine and dangerous line, actually, between you using the skills and talents that God has given you to produce fruit versus you having and making your own money because you are self-reliant, because you refuse to submit to the design of God. Because at the end of the day, this independent boss babe culture is used by the world and by the enemy, honestly, to propagate this distrust against men. And I was there, you guys, okay? I was also told it's very important for women to have their own money. And this is not necessarily bad. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. What I am saying is that there's a biblical principle that was perverted here. Now stick with me because I'm going to show you how this is so biblical and how this independent boss babe culture is just not going to produce anything that you want in life, nor is it going to bring about the kind of marriage that you want. Listen to Proverbs 31, and I'm going to skip to some of these verses just to make the point here. Proverbs 31 talks about a woman of noble character. I love that section about the wife of noble character starts with the description of the dynamic between her and her husband. It says in verse 11, her husband can trust her and she will greatly enrich his life. The fact that it says that he can trust her, do you think that possibly she can probably trust him? I would say so, but let's keep going. Here's the part that talks about her producing her own economy. In verse 16, it says, she goes to inspect a field and buys it. With her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She is energetic and strong, a hard worker. She makes sure her dealings are profitable, and her lamp burns late into the night. Here's the part that I love. Verse 21, she has no fear of winter for her household. Now, the problem that I have with this independent boss babe culture that is indoctrinated into these young girls that are soon going to be wives is that it is fear-based. If you think that you need to be an independent boss babe because your husband might leave you, or your husband might cheat on you, or your husband is not going to be the man that he's supposed to be, which is a protector, a provider, a spiritual leader, all of the things that God designed into the man, then I need you to understand that your priorities are probably not in the right place. I want you to receive the revelation that if you are walking in this independent boss babe vibe, then you are living from a spirit of fear. Then you are producing because you're scared that one day you're not going to have enough, and that's scarcity. I want to read to you what it says in a further verse 25. It says, she is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. Listen to me. When you are so planted in your identity, when you understand who you are able to produce, not from scarcity, not from fear, not to protect you because you won't have someone to cover you later. You are going to produce because you understand that the point of life is fruitfulness. You're going to understand that the point of having gifts, having talents, having things that God put inside of us is to produce fruit in our life. Who are you helping with those talents? Who are you helping with that fruit? It's not because your husband may leave you or cheat on you. It's because you understand who you are. And one of the things that this girl said that was really triggering was, if you're using your husband to pay for your bills, if you ever use someone, I mean, that word is telling. If you and I'm not judging, guys, I'm not judging. I am trying to highlight the language that's being used in order to uncover the culture that's being propagated in the women that are coming up and will be future wives. And I refuse to not do anything about it. I refuse to allow any more women to step into marriage without understanding their identity in Christ and their identity as a daughter of God. So I pray right now that all women will be awakened to understanding the power that it is to be a woman, that God didn't create us by happenstance, and we were not a second thought. We were created on purpose and for purpose. And that if we think that we have to be this independent boss babe, we're going to fall short the calling in our lives. And if you are someone who's called to being married, if you're going to be a future wife, or if you're married now and you feel like there's this exhaustion, right? This fatigue, this spiritual emptiness, there may be something that God is calling you into in this season. And it's understanding your identity in Him. Because when the winter comes and you have actually understood who you are, I promise you, you will survive the storm because you're actually standing on the rock, rather than standing on your own merits and strengths. And here's the last verse that I'll share with you guys. This is chapter 31 of Proverbs again. But verse 28 and 29 say, her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. He says, there are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but you surpass them all. And I pray right now that whenever it is that you get married, or if you are a married woman now, that your husband will say that about you. That your husband will say, wow, you surpassed them all. Not because you made a boatload of money and you were able to sustain yourself even with or without a man. No, because you've been able to be this woman who is noble and virtuous, stands by biblical principles, and understands who she is, a daughter of God. I know that you were meant to hear this. And I pray that this word stays with you forever. And if you connected with this, I want you to go ahead and comment. Even an emoji is good. All right. And if this really blessed you, then go ahead, follow, and share it with someone who needs this word as well. I love you guys.